All right, so we're gonna cut our handle for our Jawbone tomahawk. So we found the sapling we're gonna use. You can see this right through here. It's really good and straight. So it's gonna make a nice handle. It's the right size, I've done checked it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear these sticks out of the way, the dead ones, all right? So now see, we got this. This is the part we want. So we're gonna cut it with our machete down here and up there, and then cut it off with a saw so we get it exactly how we want it. So we're just gonna take and we're gonna cut this thing. All right, so now we got it on the ground. We're gonna cut it off. We're gonna try to cut this branch off here. All right, we're gonna cut it off up here. That way we have all this to work with. All right. So now this is very obviously way too long. But like I said, we can find out which of it's gonna work best and cut it off. All right, so now we got it cut down to the length that we want it. I'm going to take my pocket knife now, and I'm going to cut all the bark off of it. You can leave the bark on. I think it's prettier when you take it off. So I'm going to cut all the bark off of it now. So we're just going to take, and because this wood is still green, the bark comes off really easily. And it's that real white color right now, but it'll darken up some as it dries out. And we're going to go ahead and get it all ready and get it put together, but this isn't going to make a good handle until it's had some time to dry. All right, so we got our handle. We're about to split the wood. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but splitting is my preference because it's really quick. So now if you'll look at this handle, it kind of curves this way just a little bit. So I want my blade to be facing this way so that I'll have a little bit more clearance between the blade and my knuckles. That's just my preference. You could do it to where your blade was over here. That way your blade is closer to your knuckles. That's just what I'm going to do. So if I can prop this up here to where you can still see what I'm doing. We're going to take our machete from earlier. We're going to try to line it up as close to center as we can. This part is really important because this determines whether you get to use your handle or if you have to go find another tree to cut down. Alright, so once we get it in position here, we're going to take our hammer and we're going to tap it. And if your stick don't fall onto your vise, it should split pretty easily. Now we don't want to split it really far, but we do have to split it far enough to get that jawbone in there. And see, that is pretty thick, but that right there, hard to work for it. We're going to not cut our fingers off when we pull our machete out. That is very important. It is not good to cut your fingers off. So now this part is a little bit more tricky. Because you see we got that tiny little crack, but we got this big old bone. So, sometimes you gotta take your machete, and you gotta work it in that crack down here to open it up. Sometimes that doesn't even work, sometimes you just gotta work it back down in there. not going to. This is the hard part. Trying to get your jawbone down in your handle. Get a screwdriver here. Sometimes a flathead screwdriver can solve any problem. So now we're just going to work that in there, and we're going to try to pry that open just enough to where the teeth will go in. Now that we got our teeth in there, we can take our hammer again and peck it just a little bit, maybe having to do a little bit more prying. We'll them over here. We're just going to drop our screwdriver. Like I said, this is the hard part. This is the part that always takes you a minute. And there you go. And you're just going to want to peck it down to where your bone is level with the top of your wood. And I'm going to have to pull this one out and do it again because it slid forward on me.